Okay, another post. Come on, all of you readers that love reading. Want some really great stuff to read? We have a patient guide, Aortic Dissection, the patient guide. Here it is. Boom, boom, boom. You know, if you just open up our website or you go to our resources or our Hope Shop, it's the first thing you see. It's also in Spanish. Download for free, order one for free. Talk to your physicians about ordering a box of 25 for free. The second guide, Aortic Disease, the patient guide, has been written. It is now being reviewed clinically. It is being taken a look at by some other patients and caregivers. Our goal is to have this book in print form by the end of first quarter of 2025, although we hope to have it in a downloadable format before then. So that is a lofty goal, but we're working towards it. American Heart Association provides comprehensive information about heart and aortic conditions. The National Marfan Foundation actually focuses on genetic conditions that can affect the aorta. The John Ritter Foundation offers educational resources on aortic dissection and genetic risk. They also helped contribute financially to the publishing of a mental health guide from a genetic counselor that's based out of Johns Hopkins, because not enough is discussed about mental health when it comes to health-related issues, let alone aortic disease. So if you're looking for a really good book to read, you should check out some of these books that have been written by community members. I love that. I love having an opportunity to share them. We just talked about our book, Dissected, Healing with Poetry, My Journey with Two Aortic Dissections. This is the second edition. Love this graphic. It's written by Maria Trinidad Herrera. Maria is also a therapist, and she runs our Spanish support group meetings. That's another little tidbit. So she had her first aortic dissection surgery in 2009. The fears and questions became very overwhelming. The difficulty with the diagnosis, lack of knowledge of some of the medical professionals that were actually working against her. What could have been addressed with a stent or observation, if found on time, actually led to a complicated and dangerous emergency open heart surgery. And it basically forever changed her life. The psychological traumas after the surgery became daunting and led her to find a healing path, and poetry became her path. I am not great with poetry. I like Dr. Seuss. I like my poetry to rhyme and have a rate and pace. It's got to have a cadence to it. Her poetry, some of it does, but a lot of it doesn't. But it is very moving, very telling, very easy to read. And her poetry really fortified her strength in her most vulnerable moments. And she wants you to know that you're not alone. And you can basically just click on the picture, on the title. It takes you right to a place to order for any of these books. Okay. All right. Next up, Everyday Sinner. Sounds like an interesting title, right? Undeserved Miracles from an Unconditional God. This was written by A.G. Helms, and this is what she says. I laid there helplessly, looking at my beautiful husband's sobbing face as the surgeon said, you need to decide who is priority, your wife or your child. So sure sounds like she had her aortic issue while she was pregnant. Life is such an amazing, wonderful journey, but at times it's like a badly paved road. You're traveling along and bam, hello whiplash, hello insurance claim, hello Route 44 half and half tea with lemon and the good ice. That's the crunchy ones that you've been waiting for all day, all dumped on the floor. Sound familiar? Our lives, she says, over the past 2 years have been more like a bumpy road. A bumpy jungle safari trail in an old Jeep with 3 partially deflated tires. I mean, you have to read a book when it's described like that. God and we beat infertility. God saved our baby, and God saved me. A walking, talking, breathing hot mess. He had mercy on an everyday sinner like me. There are 4 cases of the world of pregnant women with type A and type B dissections with an aortic aneurysm. 2 of those 4 resulted in both the mother and the child perishing. People say we're walking miracles, but we say our God is a God of miracles. It took me 2 years to write this book emotionally and physically. It holds the most personal details of our journey, and I pray this gives you hope. I pray it encourages you to speak to your mountain, whatever it may be, with boldness and confidence. I pray that it brings you closer to Jesus Christ. I pray that you turn the last page feeling loved because, friend, you are so very, very loved. Whether you are religious or not, check out this book. If you just want something that's inspirational and you want to hear a story that may give you chills, this is a really, really good story. Okay. How My Ordinary Became Extraordinary by Terry Benson. It invites you inside her harrowing journey through one of the worst heart conditions possible. After waking up to find her life fractured by her condition, she fought to reassemble the pieces into normal life. But when climbing the stairs felt like hiking, Mount Everest, basically, and brushing her teeth became an actual accomplishment, it didn't take long to feel discouraged. This is the true story of Terry's recovery from an aortic dissection and the people and mindsets that pulled her through it. Whether you're standing atop your personal mountain or still scaling the cliffs, this book is for you. It's another good book. All right, Life and Death, a true story of surviving an aortic aneurysm and dissection by Robert C. Fisher. Imagine rising on a normal day, unaware that you have a rare, deadly underlying medical condition. Without warning, an excruciating pain crosses your chest. You barely make it from your living room to the operating room, but your body somehow manages to hang on narrowly, surviving what most do not. But surviving the initial incident is only the beginning as complications arise. This is the true story of Robert, who at age 55 experienced one of the most traumatic events of his life, an aortic aneurysm with a dissection. With less than a 5% chance of survival, Robert was one of the lucky ones. You might remember hearing about aortic dissections. It was what killed TV sitcom actor John Ritter in 2003 at the age of 54. Trying to make sense of his near-death incident, Robert spent many hours talking through what had happened with him and his wife, Carol. Those talks soon turned into journaling about it and all that he had to cope with. That journaling evolved into writing this book, and Robert wishes to bring awareness of this deadly condition. For those dealing with an aortic dissection, or for those interested in what life is like after experiencing such a terrifying ordeal, this book may offer you some insight. And finally, Miracle Man, Beating the Odds, Cheating Death by Scott Pribble. And he says, do you know anyone facing or has faced major surgery, illness, disease, or other life-changing personal or financial situation? Does that person need hope, inspiration, spiritual grace, and the sheer will to keep going? Do you know people who want to need to lose weight quickly, yet permanently with minimal exercise? Well, the author Scott Pribble survived an internal injury that's 90 to 95% fatal. Actual statistics about aortic dissections are closer to 20%, and they go up additionally each hour. In this book, he describes his 7-year rehabilitation and comeback. Pribble also describes how he lost 50 pounds in 2 months. So if you are another individual out there that has published something or you're about to, please get in touch with us. We would love to showcase your work on our reading resources under the resource section. And just so that you know, material and information contained on this website is for general information purposes only. You should not rely upon the material for information or information on the website as a basis for making any medical, business, or legal decisions. A lot of good information there. It's always so fun to see people in the community, what they end up doing, like where they are later, right?